Let's all start with the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag.
The United States of America, to the republic for which stands one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The notice requirements of the Open Public Meetings Act for this meeting have been met by transmitting the notice of the regular meeting to the Commissioner's official newspaper on February 4th, 2021, posting the notice where required, and filing a copy of the notice with the Commission Clerk. The Deal Lake Commission meeting will be audio and videotaped and will be shown on APTV, Optimum 77, and throughout most of Monmouth County on FiOS 30. Allenhurst?
Present.
Asbury Park?
Yes.
Deal? Interlaken?
Yes.
Walk Arbor?
Yes.
Neptune?
The hearing lasted.
Ocean? Done. Done.
Wait a minute.
Done.
Hey, Mr. President.
Yes, I'm here.
Are you present?
Turn your
Okay.
TV off.
Sorry.
A resolution to approve the minutes of the regular meeting of March 18th. Someone please offer.
Offered.
Second.
Second.
Be it resolved that the minutes of the regular meeting of the Deal Lake Commission held on March 18th, 2021, being the same, are hereby approved. Allenhurst?
Yes.
Asbury Park?
Yes.
Interlaken?
Yes.
Walk Arbor?
Yes.
Ocean?
Yes.
A resolution to approve the treasurer's report and pay bills. Bruce, did you get I just sent everything to you.
Yes, I did. I did receive it. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And I'm going to read the report now, the report of April the 15th, 2021. The balance of cash on hand at the beginning of the month was $125,232.23. We had receipts in the amount of $85.11. We also had disbursements in the amount of $4,250.61. The total that we have on deposit after the receipts and disbursements is now $121,066.73.
Thank you. Someone please offer.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Allenhurst?
Yes.
Asbury Park?
Yes.
Interlaken?
Yes.
Walk Arbor?
Yes.
Ocean?
Yes.
Okay, Don, take it away.
Okay. Flume electrification. I gave a tour to a couple folks the other day and gave them the new keys. Folks that are my backup. So my backups are all ready to rock and roll. My remote capabilities ready to go. So it's all good. Peter, you have the final pieces. Peter has the final word on it. What's happened to Pete?
The not terribly different than the last meeting, but we did have some progress. The contractor has a couple construction items left and a few punch list items left, and he's working to receive the hardware, I guess, drills and wheel that we need to close out that portion of the project and then complete the installation of the tide gauges and the weather station. But he's been working on it. His IT guy Rick Manzo has been on site and trying to coordinate the computer interface with the weather station, and then we'll follow through with the installation. We do have the weather station. Yeah,
the weather station is a little tricky because it's almost impossible to put it at the Flume. We really rather not have it there. It would be detriment to the building. It could actually damage the building. So we're going to put it on the sewer pumping station, and there could be issues there with communication. So we're looking at leaving it there and hooking it up to their computer, or and it'd be public access. So we wouldn't have direct access. We'd just go to the public and we'd have access, and or the fire company in Allenhurst. So we're working those two locations, which are relatively close to the ocean. So the weather station's in the hands of Peter's team, and hopefully in a month or two we get it up and running. But it's not hard to run.
So really, the key element here is not completing these items because they're going to be completed. That'll be relatively easy to complete. The key element here is coordinating the project closeout with the Army Corps and the DEP. I don't want it to take too long. I want them to get our paperwork. Jesse's already given me all the contractor vouchers that we've approved for payment. We have all the engineering vouchers that have been approved for payment. So the package is virtually ready to submit to them for reimbursement, which we want because we want to give it to Ocean for the money that they fronted for the project.
Thanks, Pete.
So we're in good shape, I would say.
Peter,
and everything's working perfectly.
Peter, when do you anticipate the gauges being installed?
I don't know. I want to answer that question. We're meeting with him tomorrow. So he was sick for a while. He was on vacation for a while. He's back up and running now. He hired a new engineer to help as a project manager who we know. So it'll be a little easier to communicate with them now. So hopefully within the next week, we have a timeline, which I can distribute to our members.
Thank you.
But yeah, of course, you'll know. Tide gauges, we want you there when they're sited and when we install them.
Yep. Pete, why don't we just roll right on to the 319 grant?
My favorite.
Your favorite stuff.
I'll give you a little hint about my job. Whatever you think is going to happen generally doesn't when you start constructing in a infrastructure filled environment. And that's what we have on Memorial Drive. We knew it going in. So we sited the MTD at a location that we thought would fit in between the vertical and horizontal location of the existing infrastructure, water, gas, telephone, electric, anything, sanitary sewer, everything's in Memorial Drive. So the first thing we do before we start construction is test pit. We go out, we literally physically dig down through the asphalt down and locate every utility. We have a conflict with the water main and the location we wanted to put the MTD. So we want to move it to the other side of the road, which will be on the fringe of the New Jersey Transit right-of-way. I normally would have just said, yeah, just do it. But New Jersey Transit's kind of been involved in the process with us, and they may want two things. They may want like a hold harmless, and they may want the contractor to get special training so they're aware of what to do when a train's approaching, even if they're 33 feet away from the rail. That's one of their requirements. So we're meeting the contractor tomorrow. We're going to go over the proposed relocation of the MTD on Memorial Drive and hopefully get the go-ahead to relocate it there. After which, the two smaller units are already fabricated and they're at the plant ready to be distributed to us. And the big one is nearing completion. When we know where it's going to go, they'll put them on a truck and bring them down, and we'll let you know when the digging starts. But they'll probably start. We want them to start on Grand Avenue. Don's right. We want to start in the northwest quadrant of Grand and Sunset Avenue, and then the second one will be on the south end, and the third one will be Memorial Drive.
Okay. Thanks. And we're pushing them to install the ones on Grand first, right?
Yes. Yeah. That's exactly what we're doing.
And the high school guys are still engaged. And
Yep.
Good.
We're just really waiting. We're waiting for that start date. Hopefully tomorrow irons out a lot of the remaining issues.
Yeah, we had a lot of questions on the rain garden piece of the 319 grant, and Sylvia, I'm not sure if she's on the call here, but I did call her today. She did offer a couple locations. I'm not going to say where they were, but I had asked her, because she's part of the Chamber of Commerce. Asbury has a lot of contacts, some nice spots where we could put these, not real large, but the structure of the floating wetlands, because they're going to be delivered within the next month. And so I think she's done a great job trying to find a spot for us, and I think it'll be a success. And the other piece is getting the folks involved with the plannings. And I think Jack, as you know, know Jack had the baby, and his coworker Katie's working the project too. So I think Jack got a couple more weeks, another week or two off, and he'll be back and right in time for the plantings. So he's doing well. His wife's doing well. The baby's doing great. Looks great, and that's great news for all of us.
Katie's installed a number of floating wetland islands. She's got a ton of experience putting them in. So I've worked with her on a number of projects in the past.
There was a question today from the Wesley Lake Commission about the rain garden by Town Hall, and there was a lot of construction. They had a backhoe in there, I think, the other day. And I believe that was the road department clearing out the debris from that, just the old debris and sediment that was washed in. So hopefully Katie can confirm that. I CC'd her to Gail this afternoon. So
that was supposed to be the plan of action to take out all that sediment, which had actually accumulated so much. There was a hump in there that was preventing water from actually getting, from the pipe into the rain garden.
Yeah, they did a lot of work. The Environmental Shade Tree Commission was in there, and they took out a lot of slate, tons of slate. I couldn't believe how much slate was in there. And they took invasive species out and other species, and then they were going to clear out the debris, and then they replant, of course. What else? Peter, you had something else on the rain gardens at Ocean Grove?
Yes, we've met several times with Ocean Grove officials. Very positive response. They do have some issues that they want addressed, primarily having to do with the fact that the rain garden is located on camp meeting property, and the fact that they would like a short and long-term maintenance agreement. And I did speak with Gail about it, and I think Wesley Lake Commission's perfect agency to help coordinate those two items. They have Ocean Grove representation, and they know the area, and they know the people that would be willing to help administer the long-term maintenance. So things are looking up. We're finalizing the plans for the 2 rain gardens. We're working on the cost estimates to keep them within our budgetary numbers, and then pretty soon we'll be talking about when we want to consider installation.
Okay. Any questions from the commissioners for Pete and crew? No. Okay. The new 319, again, NJIT, working along. We haven't heard from this month, but I know they're working the project, and I think it's next summer they're going to be on site with the device to eat the blue-green algae. Nobility Crest, we got a response. And I would say I was surprised at the response, and we're having our legal team, Mr. Parry, looking it over. I also notified Ocean Township, and I'm in communication with Ocean Township on the subject because it revolves all around Ocean. So that's all I'm going to say on the subject right now. Hunt, if you need to say anything, you can.
The only thing I'll tell you is that I've been in contact with the township attorney, and he's requested some information from me, and we'll keep that discussion going.
And if we need an executive session next meeting, we'll do that to talk about any further actions on that. But there's movement, so that's the key. So, shoreline protection, we haven't got into that, and Jeannie and I will next month revisit that with everyone. Okay.
Yeah.
And okay. 2021 weed treatment.
Yeah.
RFP was released and it was accepted. We awarded, and we met with the company. And Steve and I were out there and sloshing through the mud in the back trenches of Hollow Brook, which, by the way, Steve, we cleaned up the other day. My buddy Todd and I went back there and took out 10 bags of trash out of that area.
Yeah, there was it looked like it was a plastic bottle breeding ground back there. Incredible. It was insane.
That's right on Asbury Avenue between Bimbler and Oxenia. And we were trying to get the boat in there, and it was impossible. So they're gonna use a kayak for a Hollow Brook, and they're going to use a John boat from the Ocean Township side, that new building Ocean Township owns now. They're going to go in that area and attack the weeds. And that's going to be mid to late May, right, Steve? I think this.
Right. That's what they're going to shoot for. It was pretty turbid. We really couldn't see too much, but there was some floating fragments of milfoil and parrot feather that we saw in the Colonial Terrace section. Really didn't see much of anything growing yet, in Hollow Brook. But yeah, that's what they're shooting for.
Yeah. By the way, there was sediment in Terrace Pond today and the other day, and it was tracked to a location up in the Sandhills. Actually, it was the baseball field. So they're looking at the remedy of that right now. So that the town here talked to me today. So just for folks that are listening from Colonial Terrace, there was definitely sediment washing in from there. It was that colloidal. What's the correct term, Peter?
Colloidal.
Colloidal water. It was that orange water. Right. Basically baseball mound stuff. So it was that baseball mud that was coming down. So they're looking at a quick fix for tomorrow. Unfortunately, too late for today. Now we're on Coca-Cola plant. Any questions on the weeds? Okay. Coca-Cola plant. I've asked Steve to dive in to the Coke plant scenario. He's working with Peter's team, and he's being our representative. And there is a cost to that, and we're going to need a motion to not to exceed $1,400. I believe, is that correct number, Steve?
Yeah, in that general range.
Let's make it $1,500. $1,500 not to exceed, motion not to exceed $1,500 to be taken from the special funds. Is that correct, Jesse?
Special project.
Special projects account. That's the motion.
What is it? I'm sorry. Just say what it's for. I know it's
this is do a study on the Coke plant proposal. So it would be an independent Deal Lake Commission review of the Coke plant proposal.
That's correct. Right. So it involves review of the plans, drainage report, environmental impact statement, and then I'll provide, Peter's team, Matt Mariano, with a series of bullet points and different text, and then that can be integrated into the Avakian report.
I mean, this is probably the biggest project since I can't even remember. Maybe Seaview Mall. It's that kind of level of importance, right? Because it's a whole different stream. Middlebrook wasn't done well. Harvey Brook, Seaview wasn't done well, but we're going to make sure the Coke plant's done well. So,
Don, I will. I've told you I didn't really want to talk about this, but I can talk about some things. I'm the Neptune Planning Board engineer, so I'm going to be doing the review of this. And two things that the commission members and the public should probably know. The application has been submitted. It was deemed complete. It's tentatively scheduled for the first public hearing. It's tentatively scheduled for a public hearing on April 28th at 7 p.m. Neptune Township Planning Board. We have had the opportunity to meet with representatives of the developer, and we have had discussions. And the last thing I will say on it is that we as the township representing the Township of Neptune have adopted the new stormwater management regulations in the municipal code.
Yeah.
We've talked to representatives of DEP regarding utilizing those regulations for the review of this application, and they thought it was appropriate, and we represented that to the developer's team. Okay. So that's how we're proceeding.
Thanks. I see Brian's on there. Hey, Brian, can you make that meeting on April 28th as my representative?
April 28th?
Yeah, it's a 7 p.m.
I'm going to check my schedule now.
That's a Wednesday.
At what time?
7 p.m., I think Peter said.
I should be able to do that.
Okay.
Peter, just quick question. You kind of cut out a minute. Did you say that Neptune adopted the new stormwater management rules? What? I'm just missed that. Could you just repeat?
Yes, the state provided updated stormwater management rules a year ago, and they were ready to be enforced March 3rd or 8th of this year. March 3rd, I think it was.
Right. Yeah, March 3rd. So they were promulgated. They were promulgated in March of 2020,
right,
and went into effect March of 2021. And the primary thing that it does is mandate the use of green infrastructure to meet recharge and sediment, or pollutant removal, but specifically sediment.
Hey, Peter, I have a question.
Sure.
Don't take this the wrong way. Is there a conflict of interest of some sort with you being on the engineering for the planning board and for the Lake Commission?
No, my conflict is that I represent the Neptune Township Planning Board, so that's why I'm only really giving you administrative overview of the project. Steve is doing the technical review. Right. I'm staying away from the technical review.
That's why I'm doing the technical review.
Okay, so Steve is effectively stepping in your shoes to represent the Deal Lake Commission in connection with the project application?
Yes, that's exactly correct. Yes.
Very good. Thank you.
Yeah, we're careful about that. And I didn't want to misrepresent anything to the public, but the things I speak on are kind of administratively factual, and that's all I'll talk about. Thanks.
And they're in the public domain too.
Yes, absolutely.
That's correct.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Thanks, Bruce.
So my motion's to approve a study of the Coke plant proposal by Dr. Susha to an amount not to exceed $1,500 to be taken out of special projects account.
Someone please offer.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Second.
Allenhurst?
Yes.
Asbury?
Yes.
Interlaken?
Yes.
Lock Harbor?
Yes.
Ocean?
Yes.
Great, thank you.
Okay, we're going right into goose remediation, and we just had a flurry of geese reports, and they're all centered in Interlaken.
Thanks, Don.
No problem, no problem. So it's between Merlin and Carroll for my buddy Steve there. They got a lot of geese in Interlaken right now. But I want to thank. Well, first I'll tell you a little story. So this year started with an email from my town manager to me through his secretary, and there was an email that was sent by Nicole, who's the USDA girl, and she asked questions about, can the Deal Lake Commission help again? Because we were, between Jeannie and I and Carol, helped out a lot last year. We got a lot of letters approved, and we treated a lot of nests, and we had a stellar year in terms of keeping the young population down. So that was sent to me. I sent it to Jeannie, and off you went. And of course, they approved. They said, yeah, sure, Deal Lake Commission can help. And we're off to the races. So Jeannie took the lead, and I thank Jeannie for that. She made a couple of great additions to the website, some documentation, and we're having so far the last couple of weeks, for 3 weeks, Jeannie, we've been doing this.
She started April 1st.
Yeah. So it was April Fool's Day, right? So it was all the geese complaints right there. But it started, I think, with 5 nests. I think we're up to 8 or 9. It's a bunch. So, but they're getting treated. The letters are going out. Neighbors are being cooperative. It's been working really well. So no reports of any geese in Allenhurst, other than I think they're all on Mr. Frommer's yard, but there's no nest found yet. So I just want to mention that to Bruce.
And everybody, John sent out a letter today, just about an hour before the meeting. And in it, he just said that, just watch for email, because if your town is using the USDA for treatment, we will notify you once Nicole lets me know that she sees a nest. Then I'll contact the commissioner of that town, send the permission slip and an information letter to you. And then if you can get it signed and get the customer to email it back to Nicole, the permission slip, as quickly as possible, that would help you. You'd have to hand deliver it. I think everybody knows, but it pretty much, that's what Don said, and that I followed up with in explaining for anyone who didn't know that's how we're doing it. And they just have to sign it, take a picture of it, attach it, and send it in an email back to Nicole so that she can go on their property, because she's not allowed to go on private property without permission.
Yeah. So anyway,
you said the customer. Who's the customer? I don't understand.
The homeowner.
Did I say customer? Oh, I'm sorry. I meant the homeowner. The homeowner, the property.
Okay, I got it. That makes sense. What happened to this guy?
I saw a goose the other day, and I went to Nicole. I said, "Did you see that one?" And she said, "Yeah." And I'll tell you, the goose was sitting on the eggs, all happy. So,
the other thing is we have
amazing.
People contacting us through the website as well. Since we've been telling the community, they can notify us if they see a nest, or if you see a nest on your property, you can go to the DLC website and submit and tell us where the goose is.
Right.
goose nest is. And then she sends some questions. That's the only difference. Is if somebody sends something to us, Nicole will send 5 questions to that person, because sometimes people think they have a nest and it's just that they have some geese running around, but there's no nest there. So she has to verify that first.
Go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
You said, how will I be notified for you when you're gone? If it's Ocean Township.
If it's Ocean Township, Jeannie's going to send you an email.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nicole will send it to me, Brian, and give me the address, and then I'll send it to you in the permission slip and the letter. Okay. The letter just explains why this is being done, why we want to do geese treatment. Have you seen it yet? I think.
Yeah, I have. Don sent it to me today, I think.
And it's kind of helpful for you and for the homeowner, you know, if you're going to be talking to the homeowner.
Right.
And Brian, if I get an email, I recognize the people, I'll give you a call and tell you, the names and the phone number and all that. So.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Great.
I had a question.
Sure.
I was wondering if all of the towns along the lakeshore that are part of the commission would engage the services of Nicole and the USDA, would we be able to maybe get a better rate on that kind of treatment? And would that encourage other municipalities to participate?
Yeah, she does give you a better rate. The more towns that participate. Yeah. So that's why initially she gives a rate, but she gives the rate as if there are no other towns participating, just in case somebody says they want to, but then they never sign the contract. So she's obliged to send out the full price. And then if there are 4 or 5 towns participating, it reduces the price for everybody. Yes.
Okay. So that's maybe something that would be great for us commissioners to explore.
Yeah. Well, next year we'll sometime after the summer or during the summer, we're going to get together, especially, Asbury, we're going to sit down because Asbury's got 3 different lakes and they have contracts with various different geese remedies, and it's costly. So they don't want to, spend a lot of money. So we're going to work with the other commissioners. Yeah. Jeannie and I are going to sit down with the other lake commissions in Asbury and work out an equitable solution.
The other thing on the education part of it that I think is important too. Blood gas level report that the defense didn't know about. Okay, so Nicole has offered. I had asked her if she would do it sometime in the fall when she's less busy. If she would do a workshop on goose saddling for the public, either this way through Zoom, or if we're meeting in the public, invite the public so that, people can get an understanding of why this is important and why we do it.
Okay. That sounds great. And I want to thank the Deal Lake Watershed Alliance for helping out adding a little extra money in the pot and getting some extra stuff done. So that was very gracious of them. Okay. Ship and sniff. I think I told you last time we got the reports back, and there was one site in Lock Harbor. They're researching a little bit more. Everything else was clean. That was the report from. They still have to do a wet test, a rain test, and that's going to be done later in the summer. We have more folks in town. Seaview Mall, no update on that.
Hold on one second. Sure. Next month, Jason and Erin are going to be attending our meeting to give.
Oh, yeah. We're not there yet. Hold on, Gina.
Oh, I thought that was.
We're getting there. We're getting there.
I'm sorry. Okay.
I'm going to let you talk. The restoration of 4 lakes. We do have a lot of folks talking about the, Hollow Brook, Terrace Pond, Lollipop Pond, and Fireman's Pond, all in Ocean Township. So, we got some groups this week. They got Terrace Pond getting cleaned up. We have Fireman's Pond getting cleaned up. We did a little bit on Hollow Brook. So things are happening behind the scenes. But hopefully, when we pay our bill for Ocean, I want to hopefully sit down with the mayor in a group session and talk about how we can get these places dredged, because we really need to get them dredged. These feeder lakes to the lake. So. That'll happen. Hopefully this summer we'll get that done, or at least the discussions at least. Jeannie, water testing.
Did I cut you off before you spoke about Seaview Square Mall? Was there something you wanted?
No, I didn't have, there's nothing, no updates on that right now. other than Bill Fitzgerald and I are planning to go out there probably in May timeframe and go through the storm scepters they have out there. That's it.
So next month, the May meeting, Monmouth University, CLONET, Jason and Erin will be attending our meeting, and they will give us they'll present the data, the results of the Deal Lake testing that's been going on since, throughout COVID anyway. Sure. So big hand to all those people that have been out doing it all this time. I mean, at times when, I was doing it too, and sometimes it was unnerving because we really didn't know. We have to stand close to each other, and you don't know whether it's safe or not. So I congratulate all of the water testers who were just kept persevering through rain, wind, storms, and COVID to get the water tested for us. And they will present the results.
That's great.
At the next meeting.
Okay. And we'll do that right in the beginning of new business, I guess. Whenever. Yeah.
They'll be here.
It could be here. It could be anywhere. We'll see what their schedule is like. What else? Oh, testing. Steve, there was a question about testing Wesley, and I before the 319 grant, or before and after. Did we have anything scheduled to test the waters before we put the treatment devices in, and then some testing after?
I mean, the weird thing is that DEP would not cover any testing costs.
For the next meeting, you think you can give us a quick idea what something like that would cost? We can do quickly.
Yeah, I mean, what would be the objective? I mean, what would you want to test? The amount of phosphorus that's in the water column?
What would be the best? What would be the best test?
I'd have to talk to you about it because it can be it's highly variable. I think the better test, if you're trying to evaluate like the performance of those floating wetland islands, is really to look at how much biomass is growing on them, how much is grown on them. Okay. But it's pretty difficult to, I can talk to you more about it. It can be modeled. I mean, yeah, I mean, I'll talk to you more about that.
Yeah, it could be seasonal variations too. It could be.
There's a lot of it. That's the problem. There's a lot of, unless you're like doing a ton of sampling, it's really tough.
Okay, I got you.
But I'll talk to you about it. There might be, there are some ways.
Maybe some of the CLONET results would change. I mean, that could be a possibility. Some of the minor, they take some I think the phosphorus readings, I believe. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I mean, that would be the primary thing, looking at phosphorus.
Yeah. Okay. The spring cleanup, I'll tell you, it went great. We had around 54 folks, and we had 13 the week before, and we took a lot out of there, but we, weighed about just around 1,000 pounds. And I was just thrilled. We had a group of family, like two families that knew each other. We sent them on the bridge, and they used brooms and swept Main Street Bridge from Asbury Park to Interlaken, and they swept the walkway. I mean, it was bags and bags full of sand and sediment, glass, and it was all cleaned up. So that's been like that for years. So less stuff washing into the lake. The roads weren't bad. The streets get swept, but the walkways don't. So that got cleaned up. And along Asbury Park, Interlaken, we did the church, the Methodist Church, Ballard Methodist Church, is a catch point for a lot of debris. We had a team go down there. I think Eddie was down there with Todd Rush and one other person, and they cleaned up a lot. We had a group. I think Brian was over with Chris over in the Colonial Terrace area, cleaned up. They got about 8-10 bags over there. I mean, it was a great cleanup. And Allenhurst was cleaned up. So we hit a lot of spots. And Loch Arbor. Don't let me forget Loch Arbor. So Margo was there with her team, and everybody did wonderful. So I was very proud. And the group before us, the Eco Warriors, they were the stroke for Eco. They were spectacular. Great photos, and they got a lot off the railroad tracks, which we didn't have to deal with. So, and we're going to connect. We connected with them, had a nice exchange, and we're going to get them back for the fall. So that'll be a great team to have. And I also talked about some summer cleanup that we can do. Get more people that are visiting for the summer involved. So maybe we could do that in August.
We did a good job in Interlaken too, Don.
I did. Did I say Interlaken?
No.
Interlaken was tremendous.
We had a big crew.
And what was the highlight? What was the highlight in Interlaken?
The highlight was pulling the creosote-soaked railroad tie out of the lake and actually pulling it up onto the railroad bed so that New Jersey Transit could pick it up.
Well,
it was a six-person
twice. This week I asked them twice, Carol, and there was 2 guys over there with gloves on looking at it. I don't know if they actually picked it up.
It was a beast.
Yeah. Brand new, by the way. Brand new.
Steve was awesome.
Yeah, there you go. And what was the other highlight? You had another highlight.
Oh, I got to pick up a lot of fish.
Right. And, there's 3. That's right. Yeah, and you didn't get what? You had less?
Oh, we had really 0 plastic bags. Wow. The plastic bag ban in Asbury has definitely had an effect. Like really, really noticeable difference from any other cleanup. And I've been doing it for years and years and years. That's a really positive thing, I think.
You should send them a letter.
Yeah, that was really a noticeable change.
That was a tough thing to get through. So I think it would.
No, I can absolutely tell you, I definitely saw a difference.
We can clip this meeting and send it to the mayor and say thank you.
The mayor council put that through.
Yes, it was great. Excellent. Yep.
Yeah.
No, it's definitely working.
If you want, I'll help draft it. But do you think send a letter to Asbury Park and just say that? We're glad.
You know what? Why don't we do a coaster article on this? Why not?
Yeah.
Can't hurt.
Right? Kudos to them for what they did, because we see the difference.
Might be other towns, get inspired as well. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks.
Lock Harbor already has the band.
Good.
Yep. I don't know if I don't think Ocean has it yet. I don't think so. So
we don't have any businesses in Interlake.
Let me keep rolling along. Corley's Avenue Bridge, no update on Corley's Avenue Bridge, but we did lose our crossing at Allen Avenue. So you don't want to if you want to make a quick exit and avoid the light, you can't do that anymore. You'll go right into the lake. So don't do that. New business, fish stockings. I was talking to the state and I looked it up and talked to them, and they confirmed we had 3,000 largemouth bass put in last year, 250 catfish, channel cat, and I think around 2,200 northern pike. And a lot of those fish turn into food for the birds, but some of them hopefully survive, and we'll be catching them later this year. So just wanted to mention that. So that's all good news. Birds. I mean, there's so many birds. There was an article today about in the Coaster about birds on Sunset, but we have a ton of birds at Deal Lake, and Carol's she loves birds, and a lot of you guys do.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping we can get a bird section built up.
It's up on the website already.
Oh, perfect.
We put it up. Want me to show you, or you want to just
look? Sure. Go ahead.
Okay. Oh boy, Ken, would you help with that? Bring up the bird. Are you there, Ken? Would you bring up the bird section under education? It's okay. Well, let me see if we could go on, and then he'll bring it up when he's ready, I guess.
Okay. That's all the new stuff I got.
And okay. You want me to do it for my last word, or
you want me to do it? Hold on.
The Asbury Bridge. I have it ready.
You want me to do? Oh, you got it? Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay, just a second. So I just want to show you some pictures, and
this is, by the way, this is Asbury Avenue, right?
Asbury Avenue and Oxonia Bridge.
Okay.
You remember we talked about it a little bit, and it was really that there were some open drains, old drains, non-compliant drains left right alongside the new drains. And like this one, not a great picture, but you could see that's one of the older drains that was just left. Mm-hmm. And so the garbage is falling right from those old drains into the lake below. And this is the western side of the bridge.
Yeah, that's the part we clean out every 6 months.
Yep, and it just keeps filling up again.
Yeah.
So they were left open. The stream was also clogged up, and there's a lot of overgrowth there, like there is a lot of the bridges, and garbage there. So I contacted the Dennis Walsh at the Monmouth County Department of Public Works. He's there. That's him walking around in the muck to the eastern side of the bridge prior. And we saw some broken curbing, and then there was creating erosion. You can't really see it in that picture, but you could see where that's the broken curb. It should be extending onward. And in here was where the erosion was going down, and there's just all kinds of old dead trees, branches, garbage, all sorts of stuff. And then they came in a couple weeks ago and started to clear out sediment, garbage, overgrowth, cut it, cleared it. I mean, for all this area was cleared here. And you could actually start to see water flowing again. I mean, Brian probably knows better than anybody what it's like back there, because his house is just a little ways down the stream.
Hey, Jeannie,
yeah.
Hey, Jeannie, leave that photo on. So that house you're looking at there is Mr. Dorfman's. That's Dr. Dorfman. He was a scientist, I believe, biologist at Monmouth College way back when, and he was very kind and to Deal Lake, and he loved Deal Lake. A lot of his science experiments, fish experiments and testing was done at Deal Lake, and that's where he lives. He's retired. He's in his 80s, and his son called me up and was, asking of what we can do because the water was shooting in and eroding his shoreline. So we called the town, and Greg Blash from Peter's organization came out. His company came out with the county, and the county already knew because Jeannie was talking to him about the drains, and so the combination of discussions. Within a couple of weeks, we had this all done, what Jeannie's showing you now. So it's really great. Now, the next part, Jeannie, did you hear any more information about them?
Yeah, I just heard from them. Well, this was kind of phase one, was just to do the maintenance there. So they did that, and now there is water flowing where there wasn't before. Right. And if anybody knows that bridge, I mean, it was just like so loaded up with just everything between litter and overgrowth. So the next phase is, I heard today, I'll read you what he said. He said, the maintenance crew has been on site and did a pretty significant cleanup. We're looking into dealing with the roadway, drainage, and inlets. And I've submitted a request for a survey at this location, which we will need to develop any changes for the storm drainage. I'll check on the status of that request and let you know if the survey has been scheduled yet. So that's the next step. They are going to be making improvements on that bridge and closing up those drains for sure, fixing the curbing. And I was just interested. I found it interesting that they were removing sediment. I just thought that was interesting in general.
There's organic material.
Right.
Organic material.
So it's just for future.
Trash, and a lot of trash.
Right.
Okay, thanks, Jeannie. That was a great update. Excellent. Thank you for your jobs on it.
I have a question.
Sure.
That area is pretty much contiguous to the Coca-Cola property, isn't it?
Yes, it's a wetlands area. I believe it's owned by the state. Is that correct, Peter? Or am I wrong on that? Or is it Neptune?
Asbury Avenue right of way is a county road.
No,
County road.
That stream, the Hollowbrook stream.
Going back.
Yeah, back to the 35.
It's on private property.
It's private property?
It's on private property.
Okay.
It's not unlike Deal Lake anywhere else.
I got you.
But does that stream runs through the Coca-Cola property, doesn't it? Or at least from that Coca-Cola property?
Yes, and it crosses Route 35 near the bowling alley.
Yep.
I'll use that as a reference rather than any other business in that area.
Well, we've seen your car over there, so
yeah, I know at the shish kebab place.
But is there anything? Is there anything that we can do with the Coca-Cola application to try to have the developer there maybe try participate in trying to clean that area up, because that looks like a real bottleneck. Right,
Peter,
there.
you don't have to talk on this one, but Doc, that's where we're asking Dr. Steve to look at in his review. I think we'll know next month.
Okay.
And that's a great question. And Steve, is that report going to be done by next month?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I mean, but I mean, Bruce, honestly, there's a limited amount that you can really ask of a private property owner to, I mean, you can ask them to better manage the stormwater that's coming off of their property, but to go in and do a cleanup, you know, or something along those lines, that would, you know, that'd be a little bit more of a difficult lift, but you know, that stream goes all the way up to the old Neptune landfill.
But it depends on how aggressive the town wants to be and insisting on certain things with development. I mean, you know, sometimes towns extract an awful lot out of these developers that you otherwise wouldn't expect because the profitability of the project is so overwhelming, you know? So I don't know, just a suggestion.
There's two good news stories here. The first one, the state did restore a section of that area years ago. There's a sign right next to that barbecue spot across from the bowling alley, and there's a sign that says this is state wetlands and restored. So they did that years ago. And then the other thing was the coke plant owner had to restore, I don't think the current owner, but the previous owner had to restore an area east of the coke plant because the old, I believe the old pool club, Monte Carlo Pool, was buried under there. And they had to take all this, do you know, right, Brian? Is that correct?
I never heard that.
All the concrete had to be taken out and that area restored. So if you look at that coke plant where the old fence line was, you'll see that's all grasses growing there. That's all restored land. And I don't know if that's included in the property that Peter's looking at. I have no idea. I assume it is.
Don, I think when you were talking about state-owned, if you look on some of the pictures that Jeannie had of that west-facing, there are all those high power lines. I think that's an easement area for the electric company, and they'll go in there and clear cut all the brush away from those lines periodically and clean that all out of the growth. But that's it.
Yeah, not the trash. They leave.
No.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thanks for that discussion, Jeannie. That was great. I think we can open up the public, Jeannie.
You want to do Commissioner's last word?
I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yes, thank you. Let's go around. Jeannie?
Yes.
Last word.
Oh, well, I don't know. Just glad that we're moving on with the geese saddling and that all the towns, so many towns are cooperating this year and doing it and have included that in their budgets. Because it does, as Carolyn asked about that, it does make it cheaper for the rest of the towns, the more that are involved. Plus we all know how much better it is when we reduce the goose population. And I'll keep you informed about the next phase with the Asbury and Oxonia Bridge. That's all I can think of right now.
Okay, thanks. Bruce?
Yeah, also, I want to comment on the goose situation. In my town, the geese tend to congregate in the area which is just to the west of the railroad tracks near the park. And we all know how messy those geese can be and what a nuisance they can be. And I one of the concerns I had when talking to my town and asking them to get on board with this was the fact that there's so many more children playing in that area now than there used to be. And I think that the salutary effect of reducing that goose population is going to be a safety situation, a safety improvement, I should say, for the children. And I think that's great.
Okay, thanks. Margo?
Hi. The seagrass was removed and placed more where the rocks are along Edgemont Drive. Okay. And it was only just done, so we haven't heard anything back, but I'm sure you'll hear something once people start moving into their summer houses. I
hope they say thank you. I mean,
I can't remember what word they used to describe them, but it wasn't complimentary.
No.
I am concerned though, like I've been walking my dog now along that stretch, and you have to walk into the street to get around the rocks. And I made like a little video this morning, and it's kind of dangerous, but there should have been a strip of grass left in there so you could continually walk in the grass along Deal Lake.
Yeah, I hear
we
you.
can fix, we ourselves could fix that.
Yeah, that could be fixed. I did mention that to folks.
I just, yes. And so thank you for that. I myself am adopting that Claire Weintraub Park, my family and I, to always keep that clean, because I've never really gone there myself until recently. And it's always very polluted. So my son and I are adopting that as our special place to clean. And also we have our Clean Ocean Action Beach Sweep is this all along 127 miles of the Jersey Shore. And it's 9 o'clock to 12:30, cleanoceanaction.org. And also I just had a question about the stuff that you want to put potentially on the grass along Edgemont, and I tried to look it up online. It's Acre, and I could find the other two, Messina and Rejexit, Migrate, but I couldn't find that one online so that we could just read about it.
I'm sorry, did I send you the material in it? If I didn't, I'll send it again.
Yes, if you could just please send that, and then we're good. And also, we're planning on doing all of our, getting our beach in shape, obviously, for beach season, and the sand will be out of Ocean Place. And
thanks.
Okay.
Carol?
Well, we seem to be, as Don mentioned, Goose Central this year. So I'm a little busy chasing geese, and I'm certainly going to enlist Steve's help for all the information we got from Nicole today. We got one approval just the other day to treat a nest, and I think Nicole was out here the other day. So we're just going to stay on that the best we can. And that's it. And do our best to educate, property owners on, the benefits of treating the population now.
Okay, thanks.
And can I just, Carol, since I'll piggyback on that and talking about birds, Ken's ready to show that website. And it was Carolyn who I had put up something first and shared it, and then she added. So then we said, well, why don't we make, add something to our website? It's under education, Ken.
I did mean to add to that, to my comments, Jeannie. You're right. You're absolutely right. And I think that's going to be an evolving thing. And I think that we can make that a whole lot better and much more beneficial to all the people who spend time walking around the lake and enjoying our amazing bird life.
Would you open that one up? Thanks, Carol. And this one, For the Love of Birds, is what we to call it.
The site. Yeah, the site.
So if you click on bird songs, that's the first one right there. It's just kind of a cool one.
Yep.
And if you click on any of these birds, just click on one.
Oh, boy.
I don't know if you'll hear it. Can you hear it?
Give me the cardinal, Jeannie.
Well, they're...
Why hear it?
Oh, I don't know if you can hear it from Zoom this way.
Okay. Probably not.
It plays the various tunes that the birds make. And then the one that you sent, Carol, is in that same.
Yes, that's an awesome website I've been using for years and years.
So we're just developing that. So if anybody has any other suggestions, we'll just keep developing For the Love of Birds.
Jeannie, maybe just go on that Cornell site for real quick and just show people how simple it is to use.
Yeah. So
you download it and on your phone, and then it will automatically track your location and ask you just 3 simple questions about where you are, where you saw the bird, and what 3 colors you saw on the bird. And it compiles a short list of possible matches for your bird. And if you scroll through the photos on it, it might show you birds that are not just full-grown adults, but it might show you a bird in a juvenile stage, which we see a lot of those around here these days. And they look a little different than the adults. So it's a very useful tool for IDing birds. And they keep a running list of birds. And, you know, my hope would be that someday we could kind of have a life list for Deal Lake, you know, for positive IDs on birds that people have seen.
Thanks. Okay.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
Okay. Thanks, Carol. Thanks, Jeannie. All I have to say is, you know, we sent out that little list of material we're going to be proposing to spread on the grass in the towns. You know, review it with your towns, please. And all the data information is there. Margo, I'll get back to you on the details. If I didn't send it to you, I'll get you another copy. But it's a small section.
Don, I mean,
small section. And Asbury's got the largest piece. Ocean's got, you know, Bimbler area, probably Lollipop Pond, and definitely Fireman's Pond. That wasn't in there, but I'm adding that to the ocean part. And there's small. Sunset, I did add Sunset. Could be some controversy on that, but it is part of the Deal Lake watershed. And I was hoping to do half of that so we could demonstrate positive versus, you know, non-treated versus treated. So we'll see what happens with that. But we'll talk about it. We're going to talk about it at length next meeting. I'm not going to talk about it now. Just talk to your town. If you got questions, email me. I'd rather not talk about it now. We'll you know, there's a lot of information there. And
but let Steve say what he wanted to. I want to hear what he has to say.
Who's that? I'm sorry. Steve, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to add that, I mean, you had asked me to take a look at the product, you know, and so for Margot's, you know, benefit, the two primary components are mint oil and rosemary oil in, you know, this particular product. And so, you know, it's similar. It's different than the the grape skin extract that you see in Rejexit. But it is, like I said, the two primary ingredients are rosemary oil and mint oil.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, the gentleman that does the demo, he actually drinks it. So I want to suggest that, but that's his demo. So.
I just have one other question. So you're only putting it on the strip of land right along Deal Lake. You're not putting it on
the proposal for Lock Arbor would be right along the strip on your area, right?
Okay, so won't they just go across the street to people's lawns?
The theory is no. They hop on that ledge and they walk across. They start eating that grass. There's a lot of debris right on that ledge, so they could. And you know, one of the ideas is a demonstration. If they're not pooping there and they're pooping on the house, maybe the people would like to invest in and do their own treatment on their lawn. So that's another thought. So because you know, there's a whole bunch of properties that are very geese central. On the corner, Evergreen, right? That's like Goose Central for Lock Arbor. So anyway, but a lot of towns are the same way. You know, the Asbury Park by the beachfront is really a bad spot, and Lollipop Pond's really bad in Ocean. So we can make any impact, that'd be great. And there's other tests. The Rejexit was definitely worked. Wesley Lake is using it now. I believe Sunset is also using it. So, but it's expensive. So I'm hoping this works. So it's a little less expensive process. Okay, that's all I have. We can go to public now.
A motion to open the meeting to the public.
And just let me say, I think I have control of the screen. I have a time clock where it's a 3-minute discussion. Let me get to my little clock. So first one up.
Wait, let's open the meeting first.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Someone offered to open the meeting to the public?
Offered.
Second.
I can't see if anybody wants to speak, though.
I see one. I do see one.
Allenhurst? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, go ahead.
Okay, I see Rob, go ahead.
Hey, Don, it's Bob Drzeski, 1403 South Wanamassa Drive. Just wanted to let you all know about, this is about a month ago, the nest, the osprey nest that was up on the old JCPenney, kind of like a satellite dish tower up there.
Yes.
JCP&L, excuse me.
Came down.
they took it down. So I don't know if you're all aware of this.
Yeah.
Okay. The Department of Environmental Protection came out. I don't know what became. I think the end result is, since the ospreys aren't federally protected anymore, they're threatened, not protected. There's not much that can be done. I talked to the officer yesterday, and she said she called the builder there and expressed, that's not the ideal thing to do, of course. And of course, this week those osprey came back and they're rebuilding the nest, which is pretty amazing, right? They went down to South America and came back and found that nest not there, and they're rebuilding it. So it's and the nice thing about the story is the local, like there's a contractor there on Main Street. I forgot the name of it, like an HVAC contractor. All the women in the office came out, and they were like, they made phone calls. Some of the folks in the watershed made phone calls. So it's kind of, if you see something, say something.
That's great.
That's great.
I don't know what the result. It's great that they're rebuilding it. I love that these birds came back to rebuild it, but it's disappointing that there's not much protection left anymore.
Yeah. I think if they rebuild it, they can't take it down. If they're there, they can't touch it. Is that correct?
Yeah, I don't know. I hope that's the case. Right? Maybe and that's what the officer was starting to tell me about it, and she got cut off. We lost the conversation, but that would be ideal, because they'll be there now, until September, October.
Because if they make a nest on a electric line like they did in front of the Deal Lake Barn Company, they can't take it down in the off season, but they usually rebuild it. So this year they didn't take it down there. So
yeah.
There is,
and I love the bird page too, guys. It's such a phenomenal idea. Folks, it's great to look at a list and see what you're not seeing. It brings you back to the lake. So I love the idea.
Okay. Good. Thanks, Bob.
You bet.
Okay. Let's see. We got a phone. 350, please. 350.
Hello.
Yes.
My turn.
Sure. Yeah.
Ernest McNally. I just sold my home at 400 Deal Lake Drive, apartment 5D, after 14 years. I'm now in South Florida on 7th Street, and I'm looking for a place in either Long Branch, Asbury, or probably a little bit away from all the pollution around the lakes that we're talking about. So first of all, I'd like to find out who the lawyer is for the Deal Lake Commission, because the director of the commission has me blocked from Facebook of the Deal Lake Commission. I don't have any reason why, but Mr. Brockle blocked me. So I have to come to the meetings, and I don't like this. It's not a good experience for me, because, I get people in Asbury retaliate against me when I report crime, or the police coming to Deal Lake and committing crimes. And so, I'd feel safer if he would open up the Facebook so I can comment. And I don't know why, Mr. Brockle, but I will say one thing. Ansel Aaron have been the lawyers for Asbury Park and Long Branch and the general area. And really, when you think from Operation Bid Rig, when they arrested all the Asbury mayor, city manager, the Ocean mayor, et cetera, on that 2002 Operation Bid Rig with Solomon Dweck, that's what gave us all this development that's going on in Long Branch and Elbron and in Deal, in Asbury, et cetera. And all these problems with the infrastructure and the polluting when they build, and the taking away of the permeable soil, and the overpopulation with cars polluting the ground and then letting it wash right into the lakes, and then phony, results for tests. And, Ansel Aaron was fired from Long Branch for a good reason. I don't know why they're not fired from Asbury, because they keep propelling this Asbury Together, which you keep saying they're doing such a great job. But look at Asbury and look at the lakes in Asbury. And you're going to say that Dan Jacobson with the Tri-City News, the Asbury Together political team, and the contractors in Asbury have done a good job? The three lakes are disgusting. They're polluted. You can't eat. You're not supposed to touch the water. And what's the deal? They have all these deals with Neptune and with all the municipalities to let Ansel Aaron keep all this up, let the keep developers keep polluting our buildings, keep polluting the lake, and then you get the head of the commission, cover everything up and block people like me. So who's the lawyer for the Deal Lake Commission? And why does Mr. Brockle have me blocked from Facebook?
14,
I'd like a reason.
12, 11.
Okay, thanks,
10,
Ernie.
9,
No, wait, I'm not finished.
8, 7.
Excuse me?
4.
You got 3 minutes. Your 3 minutes are up.
1.
Stay in Florida.
Is Hunt still there?
That's it. Thank you. The reason you're cut because you were posting things that weren't related to the lake. That's why I cut you out. Thank you. Brian?
Unique
Brian
combination of being rude and uninformed.
I have a quick question for Dr. Souza, since he was down at Hollow Brook the other day. Did he get a chance to look at the water?
You know, all the comments that you make are recorded, okay?
Can I
have Brian.
So, Dr. Souza, how do we get it to not look so muddy all the time?
Yeah, I mean, that's been a perpetual problem with all of the streams in Deal. And, you know, a lot of it has to do with the nature of the soils that we have. And once they get cleared of vegetation, they, very silty, that colloidal material, that clay material that just doesn't settle out. So, I mean, right now with some of the clearing that's been done and some of that mucking out, on the other side of 66, that's probably adding to some of that additional turbidity. But yeah, it's been a perpetual problem. I wish
can
I had
like reeds or some kind of vegetation be planted along that edge that would act as a filter to slow or catch the silt from getting in?
That's what I was just going to add. That typically that is what's done, is to revegetate those eroded edges. But our problem is that the amount of runoff that keeps coming down those streams is so great that it really defies the ability of the vegetation to take hold. So you keep getting the scouring and downcutting of the streams, and that keeps adding to that sediment load. So, it's not, a lot of people talk about how much sediment is coming in from pavement and, the developed areas, but it's more to do with the volume of runoff that's entering the streams and that's causing that scouring. As probably a lot of you know, we had a proposal before DEP to actually put a detention basin in at that location to trap sediment and then, create a detention basin in a place where it could be easily accessed and maintained on a periodic basis. But similar to Colonial Terrace, and then what was also done with, some of the other streams, we were shot down by DEP. They wouldn't let us do that, even though, it makes total sense.
Okay.
Is there a change in DEP, ideas about that?
Unfortunately, no. There's, and that's the problem. The permit process really is to try to, put the brakes on different types of development activities, but there's no permit process to allow for restoration. So restoration oftentimes is, you go under the same set of rules. You're going under the same set of rules that a developer would, and because the rules aren't written for restoration, it's a very, very difficult.
Does that answer your question, Brian?
Yeah, I guess the only other question, would legislation be able to get something like that put in place where you're allowed to do restoration?
Yeah, there's been...
We'll have to stop the conversation. I got to be consistent, so go ahead.
Okay.
We'll get back to that. It's definitely on the radar screen, Brian. Definitely on the radar screen. I think that's it for comments from the public, I believe. Jesse?
A motion to close the public hearing?
Moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
A motion to adjourn the meeting?
I'll make a motion.
Second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, we're done.